Maritime Labor Convention, MLC, 2006. Marine Labor Convention is considered as the fourth pillar of international maritime law, and Bill of Rights for the seafarers provides them not only their fundamental rights as workers, but also provide minimum international standards for living and working conditions. The convention came into force with effect from August 20, 13. 1. Objectives of the MLC, 2006. Establish minimum working and living standards for all seafarers. Promote decent employment conditions, fair treatment, and social security. Ensure a level playing field for shipowners to prevent substandard ships. Provide a compliance and enforcement system through flag state and port state control. 2. Structure of the MLC. The convention is structured into three main parts: articles, general legal provisions, regulations, and code, divided into Part A, mandatory standards. Part B, non-mandatory guidelines. Title I, minimum requirements for seafarers to work on a ship. Regulation 1.1, minimum age, 16 plus years, 18 for hazardous work. Regulation 1.2, medical certification ensuring fitness for duty. Regulation 1.3, training and qualifications, STCW compliance. Regulation 1.4, recruitment and placement, regulated agencies, no fees charged to seafarers. Title II, conditions of employment. Regulation 2.1, seafarers' employment agreements, written contracts. Regulation 2.2, wages, regular payments, at least monthly. Regulation 2.3, hours of work and rest, maximum 14 hours per day, minimum 10 hours rest/day. Regulation 2.4, entitlement to leave, paid annual leave, shore leave. Regulation 2.5, repatriation, free of charge at end of contract. Regulation 2.6, compensation for ship's loss or unemployment. Regulation 2.7, manning levels, safe and efficient operation. Regulation 2.8, career and skill development. Title III, accommodation, recreational facilities, food, and catering. Regulation 3.1, accommodation, minimum standards for living spaces, ventilation, noise, etc. Regulation 3.2, food and catering, quality, quantity, and water supply. Title IV, health protection, medical care, welfare, and social security protection. Regulation 4.1, medical care on board and ashore. Regulation 4.2, shipowners' liability for sickness, injury, or death. Regulation 4.3, health and safety protection, risk assessments, PPE. Regulation 4.4, access to shore-based welfare facilities. Regulation 4.5, social security, covering sickness, unemployment, old age, etc. Title V, compliance and enforcement. Regulation 5.1, flag state responsibilities, inspections, certification. Regulation 5.2, port state responsibilities, inspections for compliance. Regulation 5.3, labor supplying country responsibilities, protecting seafarers' rights. Key features MLC. Mandatory certification. Ships over 500 GT must carry a Maritime Labor Certificate and a Declaration of Maritime Labor Compliance, DMLC. Port State Control. PSC ships can be inspected in foreign ports for compliance. Complaint mechanism. Seafarers can report violations without retaliation. No more favorable treatment. Ensures ships of non-ratifying countries are treated equally when visiting ratifying ports. Amendments and updates. The MLC has been amended to include 2014 amendments, financial security for abandonment and compensation for contractual claims. 2016 amendments, enhanced welfare provisions. 2018 amendments, addressing harassment and bullying. Importance of the MLC. Protects 1.5 million seafarers globally. Ensures fair competition among shipowners. Reduces substandard shipping and improves safety. Provides a comprehensive legal framework for seafarers' rights. Documents to be carried on board. 1. Seafarer's identity document, SID, and passport. 2. Seafarer's employment agreement, A signed contract between the seafarer and the employer, which include terms such as wages, working hours, leave, repatriation, and termination conditions. 3. Certificate of competency, COC, or endorsement. 4. Medical certificate, MLC compliant. 6. Proof of payment of wages, recent payslips or wage account records. 7. Crew list, provided by the ship operator, contains details of all crew members on board. 8. Seafarer's discharge book, if applicable, record service history, vessel details, and sign-on/sign-off dates. 9. Vaccination certificates, if required by flag state/port, e.g., yellow fever, COVID-19 vaccination proof. 10. Maritime labor certificate. 11. Declaration of compliance, DMLC Part 1. 12. Declaration of compliance, DMLC Part 2. DMLC Part 1. National requirements issued by the flag state to outline the country's laws, regulations, and measures implementing the MLC, 2006. References to national legislation for each of the 14 key areas under MLC, e.g., minimum age, employment agreements, hours of work, repatriation, etc. List of national regulations implementing MLC requirements and details of any exemptions or equivalences granted by the flag state. Inspection and certification procedures and contact details of the flag state authority. DMLC Part 2, Shipowners Measures for Compliance Measures with Part 1 and MLC Requirements. Seafarer Employment Agreements, SEA. Terms, wages, and conditions. Hours of work and rest. Compliance with work hour regulations. Accommodation and recreational facilities. Standards for living conditions. Food and catering. Provisions for quality and quantity of food. Health protection and medical care. Onboard medical facilities and access to shore-based care. Onboard complaint procedures. How seafarers can raise grievances. Repatriation and financial security. Arrangements for crew repatriation and compensation. Shipowners' policies. Ensuring safe and fair working conditions. Shipowners' responsibilities for seafarers. The Maritime Labor Convention, MLC, 2006, establishes shipowners' liabilities for seafarers' sickness and injury, including financial security for death or long-term disability. Owners are also responsible for repatriation costs and burial expenses in case of death. Standard A 4.2 of the MLC details shipowners' responsibilities regarding seafarers' health and well-being. Financial security. Shipowners are required to provide financial security to cover compensation in the event of death or long-term disability due to occupational causes. This is often provided through insurance. Compensation. Shipowners must pay full wages while sick or injured seafarers remain on board or until repatriation. They may also be responsible for partial wages until recovery or receiving benefits. Medical care. Shipowners are responsible for the cost of medical treatment, medicines, and therapeutic appliances until the seafarer recovers or the illness is declared permanent. Repatriation costs. Shipowners must cover repatriation costs for seafarers who become ill or injured while on duty, including medical expenses, board and lodging, and the cost of repatriation back to their home country. Exclusions. Shipowners may not be liable for injuries not related to the vessel service, injuries due to the seafarer's willful misconduct, or pre-existing conditions intentionally concealed at the time of engagement. Certification and validity. The DMLC must be attached to the Maritime Labor Certificate, MLC, which is valid for 5 years, subject to intermediate inspections. Thank you for watching the video. For more marine topics, please subscribe the channel. Please help us with your valuable feedback to improve the contents.